Hey y'all, I am Mazellegh. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to share with you all this video clip and then I'm going to come back and talk about it. So let's get into it.
Director for Mirror Image Leadership Academy.
There's something in this world. Academia in their eyes. Oh Lord, to
across this video on YouTube and it was definitely fascinating to see. I enjoyed watching the video. I enjoyed seeing the interactions between these two groups of people. I enjoyed to see the socialization that was happening in the video. And this is where it all starts, guys. This is where it all starts. It starts with the younger generation to really expose them to the cultures of Africa so that they can see how it really is. How are the people on these African countries really living? How is the educational system? To know more about the people, to know more about the culture, to know more about what goes on in these countries so that there can be a better understanding. Now, hopefully there will be a time, or there is something set up where these Ghanaian students will be able to go to the American schools so that they can see how the schools in America are. I know that these African American boys, when they went into these Ghanaian schools, they were able to definitely see the differences between what goes on in a Ghanaian school versus what goes on in an American school. So, you know, seeing that aspect of it could be an eye-opening experience for Ghanaian students or any student from an African country, so they can really see what American students have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, depending on what school they're going to, because that does then put some perspective into somebody's story and the reason why somebody acts the way they act. And I think that's what's important when having something like this with this younger generation, so that they can continue to learn and be able to teach each other and be able to change the mindset that we're seeing right now and that we have been seeing for a while. The reason why there's so much conflict between these two groups of people, between Africans and African Americans, is because of the lack of what's going on in this video right here, a lack of education. The educational piece is definitely lacking between these two groups of people, where there's no way to really sit down and have that type of in-depth conversation. Because in order for you to have that in-depth conversation, you really need to have some education first. You really need to educate yourself. You really need to sit and learn about the groups of people to understand why there's so much of a difference, why a lot of times we don't see eye to eye on things, and why it's important for us to at least get to the point where there's some type of mutual understanding in order to move forward. I'm so sick and tired of the same conversations about African Americans and Africans and why they don't like each other. There's so many videos out there where they're having these conversations, but there's not really conversations being had as far as how do we move forward? How do we get out of this same kind of rabbit hole and kind of move out of that and kind of move forward? How are we going to take these conversations? We know what the differences are. That is not something that is no longer a secret. That is not something that we don't know. We do know why there's conflict there. We do know why there is really a lack of understanding. We know that. These are the things that we know because we've either talked to somebody about it, we've seen it, we know what the differences are, and now we have to try to bring those differences together in order to try to get some type of mutual understanding that although there are differences, there are a lot of similarities between the two groups, and we really need to concentrate more on those similarities and how we can take that and make it into a unified front so that we can strengthen both communities. But what is going on social media now is just crazy. It's almost like people, and y'all know how people are, people put stuff on social media for views. They put stuff on social media just to get a rouse out of people, and they do a very good job on it. There's a video right now on TikTok where a British Ghanaian, now he said he was from Ghanaian descent. I know if some Ghanaians watch it, they probably wouldn't claim him, but he did say he was from Ghanaian descent, which could mean that, well, he probably didn't grow up in Ghana, He probably has a parent. A parent, of course, is from Ghana. And so he has a video on TikTok where he basically says that African Americans, the African American does not exist. Now, we all know where this is going to go. This is the kind of stuff that happens, that people post on social media, that starts to create more of a diaspora war. And that's because people are not going to hone in on the British part of it. A lot of people are going to hone in on the Ghanaian part of it, and then you'll start having this whole little riff about, see, this is what we're talking about, Africans don't like African Americans, they don't think we exist, and then it comes and blows up into something that it shouldn't be. And that's because people take something like this on our social media and start to then kind of generalize a group of people based on something as silly and ignorant as this particular video. And that's the type of stuff that we have to get out of. We have to get out of just looking at everything on social media and thinking that it's true, because we all know that anybody can put stuff on social media, and a lot of times it is to get a rise out of people. And in order for the division to close, human interaction has to take place. And that's what's really fascinating about this video, is that there's human interaction going on. These African American boys and Ghanaian boys are actually in the same space. They're actually being able to talk to each other face to face. They're actually able to share. They're actually able to listen. They're actually able to engage with human interaction. And having that human interaction is so much better than trying to have an interaction over a computer screen, over a phone screen, over a laptop screen. You're just not able to have an interaction that way. What I see happening a lot of times on my channel is that people will start posting just the most random comments to videos that I've posted, and it's just like, you know what, you're basing this on stuff that you've seen on social media. You've never met anybody who said anything of these things to you. You've never met anybody who said that they disliked you from these African countries. You have not personally met anybody in these types of circumstances. You are basing your experiences on somebody else's, which is always going to cause a greater division. So that's the reason why this video is so powerful, and what's going on is so powerful, because it is involving, number one, the younger generation, getting them involved. And what we see right now is an issue between, a conflict between Africans and African Americans, and letting it be known that we start teaching these children early and exposing them to each other, then there will be a better understanding, and maybe there's going to be less conflict that's going to go further and into adulthood. I will link below the entire video so that you can watch it, because it is definitely a wonderful video to see. I wish there was a way for, like I said, for there to be an exchange, and maybe there is, for Ghanaian students to go back to America to see how the American schools are, to really expose them to these different cultures, expose them to the different way of life, so that they can get a better understanding of the two. So hopefully the conflict will lessen, that there will be more of a mutual understanding, so that as a group, as a people, we can move forward. All right, that's all I have to say on this topic. I am Michelle Mazelleغ. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.